President Trump has signed a new executive order restricting travel. We'll explain what this means moving forward.
Free Romulo! Free Romulo!
And immigrant rights activists are protesting the detainment of a father of four. Coming up, we'll hear what they're trying to achieve.
And there's more reaction to President Trump's claim that former President Obama had a Trump Tower wiretap. We'll take a look at the response from government officials.
Annenberg TV News is next.
Live from USC, you're watching Annenberg TV News.
President Trump's new travel ban will affect 6 countries. Good evening, I'm Jake Ingracia.
And I'm Gabriela Vidal. President Trump's revised travel ban eases some of the legal questions surrounding the first ban. International reporter Claudia Buccio is here with a closer look and reaction.
That's exactly right, Gabby. The new travel ban is set to go in effect on March 16th. The first version of the ban barred travelers from 7 Muslim-majority countries from entering the U.S. In this version, Iraq has been removed from the list, leaving Syria, Iran, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, and Yemen. No new visas for citizens from these countries will be issued in the next 90 days. Here are some of the key points of the new order. It will not apply to current visa holders and green card holders. It will also not apply to dual nationals and diplomats. The ban on refugees now has a time limit of 120 days, and there will no longer be priority for minority religious groups. We have a reaction from a USC student from Iraq.
While the exclusion of Iraq from the list of countries makes me a little bit happy, it remains a travel ban, similar to the one that was set up in January. And I think given, all these weeks that we've been waiting for something that is more tolerable, something that takes in more people, it actually takes in less people, reducing the number of refugees to half of what it was supposed to be.
I spoke to an expert in Homeland Security about why Iraq was removed from countries listed in the ban.
Because Iraq is an ally, and because there are so many people that have helped us, the translators, the soldiers, that you don't treat an ally that way. You don't say you cannot come, your people cannot come into our country. So if I was a student or a person that could go overseas and then have a potential problem come back, I wouldn't do it. So
groups opposing the ban say they will challenge in court, as they did with the first presidential order. The Trump administration is also temporarily suspending the fast-track options for H-1B visas. This is the type of visa that allows U.S. businesses to hire foreign workers. Employers will no longer be able to pay an extra fee to get a visa expedited. Some of the requirements for an H-1B visa are having a relationship with the U.S. employer, completing a bachelor's degree or higher in a related field, and earning a what's so-called appropriate wage. The U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services says spending the fast-track process will help clear up a backlog of cases. Back to you, Jake and Gabby.
Thanks, Claudia. This afternoon, Republicans on Capitol Hill revealed their plan for repealing and replacing Obamacare. The new bill is called the American Health Care Act. It does not mandate that individuals and employers buy insurance, as Obamacare did. Their plan would replace income-based premium subsidies with age-based ones that may not provide as much assistance for people with low incomes. But the proposal would continue the expansion of Medicaid until 2020. After that, it would limit federal funding for Medicaid. A series of tax increases on high-earning people and the insurance industry would be repealed next year. Democrats say the new bill will hurt almost 20 million people who currently have health care under the Affordable Care Act. House committees hope to begin voting on the new Republican legislation this Wednesday.
And immigrants' rights activists rallied at Pershing Square today to protest the arrest of an undocumented father of 4 by immigrant agents. Dozens of protesters came out to the rally to show their support for Romulo Avelica Gonzalez. He was detained by ICE agents last week after dropping off his daughters at school. The arrest was recorded by his teenage daughter.
My dad is very strong, and that's why we are here. Be strong for him, and as a community, we can do big things. We're not leaving.
Says the community has come together following the shock of Romulo's arrest.
We had our restorative circles with the students after the election about possible changes, but we were not prepared to see this happen to one of our own so soon. And hence the big outpour of support from our community, from our religious leaders across the spectrum, to our parents, to our neighbors, to everyone involved in the Highland Park community.
Now, event organizers say while no future protests have been planned, they will continue to fight for Romulo and his family.
A group of USC professors started a GoFundMe campaign to raise $32,000 for an ad in the LA Times supporting immigrants and the community. Those involved in the campaign hope to run a full-page ad on Sunday. They've raised more than $14,000 in 4 days, with donations ranging from $20 to $500. As of now, 172 people, mostly USC faculty, have contributed. We spoke to one professor leading the fundraising effort.
There's a question, as always, of, what do we stand for? And what this ad is going to say is what those faculty who've helped pay for it and signed on to it stand for in terms of protection of students, citizens, undocumented individuals, as well as how welcoming we are as an international institution.
The Times declined a request for comment, but the news organization does accept advocacy and opinion-based advertising.
And there's new fallout tonight from President Trump's stunning claim accusing President Obama of wiretapping phones in the Trump Tower before the election. All this without offering any proof. Now, the former administration is denying those accusations, and outraged FBI Director James Comey has requested that the Justice Department publicly reject the claim. In just a few minutes, with a few hundred characters on Twitter, President Obama ignited a firestorm, writing that, quote, Obama had my wires tapped in Trump Tower, nothing found, even comparing it to Watergate, what he called a new low, spreading what senior intelligence officials say is a huge falsehood. Now, the president's claim that the FBI bugged Trump Tower under orders from President Obama remains unsupported by any evidence, but it could be based in reports last week on Fox News and conservative news site Breitbart, which featured conspiracy-loving radio talk show host Mark Levin.
Are you concerned on the flip side that the Obama administration may have been surveilling members of the Trump campaign?
How many of Trump's people were eavesdropped on? How many had their conversations intercepted, recorded, transcribed? Because this, ladies and gentlemen, is the big scandal.
Obama's administration's former director of national intelligence, James Clapper, has already gone public to refute the president's assertions.
There was no such wiretap activity mounted against the president-elect at the time, or as a candidate, or against his campaign.
Spokesperson for former President Obama called the allegations false, writing on Twitter, "No president can order a wiretap." Now, if Trump were to be right that there was a wiretap, that would also mean the FBI felt it had developed enough evidence of collusion between the Russians and the Trump campaign to put together a special panel of judges, not the White House, to approve the wiretap. Gabby?
The Trump administration is proposing steep budget cuts to climate science programs. Annenberg Media's Beverly Pham shows us what this could mean for a program at several schools, including USC.
USC students were on campus today getting people to call their government representatives.
As millennials and as college students, we're pretty politically apathetic most of the time, but our Congress people will listen to us. We are a huge constituency. We are the future of the United States. We need to make sure that our voices are heard.
The Environmental Student Assembly is one organization advocating for climate issues. Another is Sea Grant, a $73 million program that funds coastal research at colleges across the country. It's in danger of losing federal funding under the Trump administration.
Science is a resource for everyone. When we hear that the science might be defunded, the Sea Grant program might be eliminated, that impacts the whole community.
Sea Grant connects lawmakers and scientists. The government can use Sea Grant data instead of hiring costly private consultants. The USC branch is over 40 years old and serves the Los Angeles community.
We reach more than 12,000 students every year here. And with teacher workshops and trainings, we reach more than 600 educators every year.
Along with Sea Grant, USC student organizations will continue to fight for these opportunities.
It's really easy to get caught up in all these big scale issues that the country's going through. It's really easy to think that we don't have a part to play.
For Annenberg Media, I'm Beverly Pham.
Well, researchers have found there are health risks associated with living near freeways. We'll look at how this could be affecting USC students.
Los Angeles residents marched in order to increase awareness for a new ballot initiative meant to decrease construction in the city.
And a new law proposal for California could change how bikers ride on the streets.
So good to see you guys. So, what's up?
Oh, we finally bought a place.
Holy cow.
You seriously have enough saved to do that?
We've been putting a little aside each month.
Jeez, at the end of the month, we have nothing left to save.
Yeah, I have no idea where it goes.
Well, you're spending a lot on...
Is it good?
Oh, God.
Oh, how is my account overdrawn?
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind. Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org.
That's low, that's low. That's low.
Look, he's blushing.
What do you think it would be like to teach? Chances are, you have no idea. Teachers today are breaking down obstacles, finding innovative ways to instill old lessons, proving that greatness can be found in everyday places, and that you don't need to be famous to be unforgettable. That's what it's like to teach.
Welcome back. Health experts say air pollution is worse near freeways and can cause serious health problems. Annenberg Media's Kaylee Heck spoke with a Keck professor about what students need to know.
It's no secret that LA is known for bad traffic.
I think it's terrible.
But it's what you can't always see that catches people's attention at USC.
In terms of light pollution, I think about that all the time because at night I look up and I can't see the stars.
Several large apartments near campus are right off the 110 freeway. That's the area where experts say your health is most at risk.
It's literally right there.
It's pretty clear that pollution, air pollution, has a number of long-term effects.
Keck professor Ed Aval says those effects include respiratory and cardiovascular problems. He and other health experts recommend living more than 1,000 feet from a freeway. But near USC, that isn't always possible. Apartments like Gateway, West 27th Place, and Tuscany are just a block from a freeway, right where air pollution is more concentrated.
The students that live in these dorms and apartments have their firsthand indication of this if they go out on their balconies and windowsills and see this black residue.
Students like Magdalene Vralia say it comes with living in a big city like LA.
I feel like there's nothing really I can do right now, because I go to school here, I don't really have any other choice.
Aval says everyone should be mindful about the health effects of air pollution.
Just as you wouldn't go running alongside the freeway in the middle of rush hour because of the exhaust, you wouldn't go and purposely expose yourself in this sort of sense.
For Annenberg Media, I'm Kaylee Heck.
The elections are tomorrow. Supporters organized one last rally in favor of Measure S, a ballot initiative that would limit development and construction in the Los Angeles area. Supporters marched with former Mayor Richard Riordan to persuade voters to vote yes on the ballot initiative. Those in favor of Measure S hope it will help limit developers' influence on construction projects, and they say less development will cut back on traffic.
From West LA to the opera or the theater downtown, it takes you a couple of hours. It's crazy. People that have to get to work during the week, it takes forever. So we need a mayor, city council, and others that are going to make our city livable.
But those opposing Measure S believe it will make Los Angeles' housing crisis even worse.
I think that, yes, if it passes, it would make it more difficult to address homelessness. A large share of the homeless projects that might otherwise go forward would be precluded by Measure S. By Measure S, I mean upwards of 95%.
Measure S will be on the ballot tomorrow. Polls will open at 7 a.m. and close at 8 p.m.
And backers of Measure H turned out today in a final effort to get support for the initiative, which would raise funds to help to fight homelessness. Mayor Eric Garcetti did his part to persuade voters to vote yes on H.
No human being in the City of Angels should live out on the streets.
Nobody should have the insecurity of where the next meal comes from.
Right.
Nobody in this city of Angels can say we are a prosperous city until we have 0 people on the streets of LA.
All right.
Some voters don't like the idea of the 10-year tax increase if the initiative is passed, but supporters say homelessness is too urgent to ignore.
For me, homelessness is a moral issue. It's something that we have to think about each day as we walk through the streets and see our human brothers and sisters out cold, alone, without a place to live. It's one step towards a larger goal of making sure that every person has their needs met in this city.
Voters will also be deciding about Measure H tomorrow. It requires 2/3 of the majority to pass.
Well, I thought it was a pretty cold day today. I'm a little concerned because spring break is next week. What do you think?
Yeah, it's been a little bit chilly lately, but Addie is over at the maps. Addie, are we going to see some warm weather in the forecast?
Thank you so much, Jake and Gabby. Actually, we have a lot of sun coming for you guys this week, and we got highs in the 80s, so wonderful send-off for spring break. Now let's see those current conditions outside. 60 degrees outside with 37% humidity, so a little bit chilly tonight, but it's going to be even chillier up in the mountains tomorrow. Let's take a look at Big Bear. Big Bear's looking at 54 degrees tomorrow, and pretty much high 70s throughout the rest of the area. Now, 54 degrees isn't too bad for the slopes, but I'm going to take a guess and say that you guys are more interested in the coast because we got spring break coming up and you need to get those tans in. So let's see, Malibu's looking at 66 degrees, pretty much high 70s throughout the rest of the area as well. 66 is a little chilly for my taste, so let's see the USC area. USC area, oh, it doesn't get you down, does it? We're looking at high 70s throughout the rest of the area. We have 67 degrees at LAX, but let's check out your 5-day forecast. 74 degrees is going to be the high tomorrow with lots of sun. That sun is going to continue throughout the week. We have highs in the 80s as well, and a high of 78 on Saturday with a little bit of partly cloudy weather on Saturday as well, but a great send off into spring break. Perfect opportunity to get that tan I know you guys are all hoping for. Now we've got updated drought details for you, and let's just say we went from dry to drenched. As you can see, we got Napa, California here. This is March in 2016, and this is February of this year, and what a difference from last year to this year. The state was only 0.4% drought-free last year, and now almost 75% of California is completely drought-free. Now, a lot of that can be seen up here in the north, as you can see, and no areas are in exceptional or extreme drought conditions anymore. Now, last year, 82% of the state was in severe drought conditions, and that number has actually dropped to just 4%. Now here in LA, as you can see, we're still in some abnormal dry conditions, but overall a shocking improvement from last year, and California is well on its way to being drought-free. So that's great news to end my forecast with. Now that's all I have for you guys today. Hope you enjoyed the sun this week. Back to you, Gabby.
Thanks, Addie. A proposed California law could change the way cyclists and drivers share the road. Annenberg Media's Christina Galvin looks at whether it will improve safety.
Running a stop sign could lead to a citation. A proposed California bike law would allow cyclists to pedal through stop signs.
For a lot of our bikes that we ride, they don't have brakes, so it's kind of hard for us to stop. So in that type of situation, when you need to stop, it could be hazardous by the streets, because streets are not well maintained, so there's a lot of holes.
The state lawmaker who drafted the proposal says it's safe for cyclists.
You actually double the amount of time that the cyclist spends in the intersection because of the stop that they had to make. And that also doubles the chance of collision with unseen vehicular traffic.
Under the proposed bill, cyclists are still required to slow down and yield when approaching a stop sign. They are also required to signal 100 feet before turning. Drivers say that the proposed bill is not a good idea and that it is unsafe.
Cars are too unpredictable, and I know bikes, they can maneuver and things, but I would be more afraid for them. I'm very mindful of bikers when I drive because I like to ride bikes, but I don't think that's a good idea.
A bike shop owner says stop signs are there for a reason.
Because someone's on a bicycle shouldn't mean that the rules are different. It's just like a vehicle as well.
Idaho is the only state with a law allowing cyclists to roll through stop signs. Since it passed, accidents involving cyclists have decreased. For Annenberg Media, I'm Christina Galvan.
Well, thank you so much for that, Christina. Let's toss it over to our sports anchor, Kristen Lago. Kristen, you had some students outside sprinting today.
Oh yes, I had them sprinting because the combine might be over, but the fun is just getting started here on campus. We challenged a few current students to the 40-yard dash. And USC baseball is in full swing this spring as they head south to face the San Diego State Aztecs.
And the USC men's basketball team is gearing up for the Pac-12 tournament. Sports are next.
If you store your guns properly, I'll feel safer when I'm playing outside.
Safer when walking home.
I won't have to tell so many family members. I'm sorry.
I won't hear as many scary stories.
And I won't have to tell my kids. This isn't a drill.
Please.
Please, do it for us.
Your family, friends, and neighbors are all counting on you. Never let your gun get into the wrong hands. Remember, always, lock it up. Visit ncpc.org.
You're not in here. Yes, I am. Move! Give it to him hard. No.
Every day, kids witness bullying.
Why you stab me with it? No.
They want to help, but don't know how. Teach your kids how to be more than a bystander. Visit stopbullying.gov.
To Maddie, congrats on paying off all those student loans.
Finally, right?
How'd you manage that anyway?
I started tracking my spending, changed a couple of habits.
Wow. I'm kind of living paycheck to paycheck right now. I don't even know how I'm doing it.
Well, have you tried saving a little?
I want to, but where's that money gonna come from? Bill collectors, they're the worst. Am I right?
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind.
Not home.
Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org.
Welcome back to ATVN. Though the NFL Combine has officially come to an end for the Trojans in Indianapolis, back here at USC, it is just getting started. We challenged some students to see how fast they could run the infamous 40-yard dash. 3, 2, go. Adoree who? Well, Adoree Jackson, one of the 8 former players who took the field at the NFL Combine. He, along with former teammate Juju Smith-Schuster, were 2 of USC's most impressive draft prospects. Now both players showcased their speed in the 40, with Smith-Schuster clocking in at 4.54 and Jackson finishing with a quick 4.42. In the vertical jump, Jackson, a 2-time long jump champion, only managed 36 inches, but showcased his ability and athleticism in the drill section. And while Smith-Schuster displayed his strength and explosiveness on field. With the Combine done, the next step will be Pro Day here at USC on March 22nd. And the baseball team is headed south to San Diego after a big extra innings win last night against crosstown rival UCLA at Dodger Stadium. The Trojans were down 3-0 in the 6th, but the momentum began to change after a 2-run triple from Lars Nootbaar. The Trojans tied it up a few batters later with an RBI single from Matthew Acosta. And in extra innings, Nootbaar delivered the game-winning single, driving in John Thomas, who scored on an error by the pitcher.
It's exciting. That's basically what I never really see. Obviously, the emotions took over. But that's all it was. I was excited to help our team win. That's basically what it came down to. I'm praying God John Thomas is coming out scoring enough, so that's how you do it.
Now that excitement will continue tomorrow as the Trojans face the Aztecs at 6 p.m. And the men's basketball team is the 6th seed in this week's Pac-12 tournament. They will take on Washington in the first round on Wednesday. Our sports correspondent Aaron Glazer caught up with Captain Jordan McLaughlin to discuss what the tournament means for the team.
The USC men's basketball team is gearing up to face Washington in the first round of the Pac-12 tournament this Wednesday from Las Vegas. And here joining me is Captain Jordan McLaughlin from the team. Jordan, you just played Washington on Saturday. What's it like playing them again so soon?
It's tough, you know, it's not something you normally see every day, but
Like I said, like I've been saying all week, beating the team 2 times is tough. So imagine that 3rd time; it's going to be even tougher. So it should be a good match.
Absolutely, Jordan. Now, with a team like Washington, should you beat them, you would play a game against UCLA the very next day. And with both the Pac-12 tournament and the impending March Madness NCAA tournament, it's a lot of games pretty close together. What's that like from a team preparing for those games close together, especially on back-to-back days? And is anything different, or is it just you kind of roll through as normal?
It's tough. It's a lot of treatment after the games. Hopefully you win that first one. The more you win, the more treatment you just have to get. Make sure your body's in good shape, and make sure you're healing all your bumps and bruises, and just making sure you're in good shape, ready to compete.
Now, I mentioned that NCAA tournament, but I understand the Pac-12 tournament is a little bit more front in your mind. But are you guys thinking about that at all in the background, or is it all about the Pac-12 right now?
It's all about the Pac-12. We got to make sure we take care of our business with Washington, and then worry about whoever after that. But for sure, we got to capture this first game.
All right, you can catch Jordan and the rest of the Trojans on Wednesday from T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas in the first round of the Pac-12 tournament.
And that's all we've got here. Back to you guys.
Facebook has introduced a new tool to tackle fake news.
We'll show you how it works coming up.
Listen to me. I am captain of the track team. And if I'm late,
she doesn't really think she's going to get out of here, does she?
Be nice. She's new.
Hello, is anyone there? Ugh!
Wow. Even from our standards, you look awful.
Oh, sweetie, what happened?
Me? My friend Becky got to talk to this super cute boy, and I tried to act like I wasn't jealous, but I so totally was. And then out of nowhere, this concrete barrier just popped up. Maybe it was a semi.
You mean you were driving?
Yeah. I mean, I know the whole eyes on the road thing, but this was a super important text. Maybe you have to know, Becky.
Texting? Great.
But it was only like 5 seconds, and I'm a really, really fast texter, so it wasn't even a big deal. Actually, has she texted me back yet? Wow, I get like no bars in this place. I wonder if they have Wi-Fi here.
So, I got this new family, and I don't know what it is about this one, but she can't seem to put down that toy all day long. Tap, 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 tap. Oh, and she even talks to it. She talks to that more than she talks to him. What's up, bro? Nice shirt. Who's she talking to? Her mom? She talks to her mom a lot.
Welcome back. Facebook released a new feature today that allows users to flag fake news stories. This update is designed to combat inaccurate information at a time when the definition of truth has become a political issue. Users can flag a questionable article using the newly added fake news category. Facebook says fact-checking organizations may then review articles to either confirm or negate claims of inaccuracy. Facebook is not removing fake news articles completely, and the social network will just mark them as disputed. Well, thank you guys so much for watching Annenberg TV News. From everyone at Annenberg Media, I'm Jake Ingracia.
And I'm Gabriella Vidal. You can catch us on the web at uscannenbergmedia.com. Good night.
Guys.
Excited for the game later?
Cool.